Hi everybody, Sanibonani, welcome to my channel. Happy Monday. We are back on sit down videos. Igama lami nguTando Mdletshe, and on this channel siyasibuka ama reality shows ethu ala eMzansi bese siza la sokwenza ama reviews or ama recaps. Please understand what a review and a recap is. This was from a comment I got last night. Anyway, you guys, siyaphinda sikhuluma ngama celebrities kanye nama YouTubers ethu ala eMzansi. If it's your first time joining me today and you really like my content, there is a subscribe button la eMzansi. Press it and don't forget to press the notification bell so that you can get my notifications uma ngabe umsebenzi omusha sesiwufakile. Guys, it's 2023. Of course, you know we've got a membership on this channel. So if you want to ukubaluleka kule channel, there is a membership. Press the join button la ngezansi. Siyabonga kakhulu to everybody that watches adverts on this channel and everybody that presses the thanks button and gives money to this channel. Guys, listen, Moja Love has made so much money from GBV. I cannot even believe it that South Africans have allowed it to happen. Moja Love has revenue called GBV revenue. I am sure on their financial statements there is a GBV revenue because there is so much money that they have made. There's so many episodes that they have made on Moja Love, not just on Isencane Lengane, on Umdeni, and other shows as well where there is GBV. They will shoot the show and they will present it to us as the viewers as if it's something that is very normal, and nothing is done about it. So that's the thing, you guys. I'm very disappointed about the episode of Isencane Lengane that we watched last night. I think that if Moja Love had done something about the issue that we saw on last night's episode, I think then we would have seen it in the newspapers that Usiyacela maybe was arrested, or both of them were arrested if both of them were abusive to each other. The fact that we are watching the episode and none of those stories have come out about what happened between the two of them, it just means that the crew that was there hearing that story never even attempted to call the police. You know, it's like they heard somebody confess to a crime and they even saw somebody commit a crime because Usiyacela actually broke the phone in front of them, but nobody thought to call the police. That's Moja Love for you. I really feel like it's something that we need to pay attention to, because I don't think that it's right for them to do it, to shoot ama shows that have GBV in them and not do anything about them, because GBV is not entertainment. We're not being entertained by watching somebody be getting abused on national TV, and also to know that they don't do anything about it. I didn't like it. So this is one of my least favorite episodes of Isencane Lengane, and we are going to review it, okay? So, of course, last episode ended with Usiyacela and Tando. They had gone to Mdletshe to meet Mato. Okay, it didn't go well. They ended up getting in a physical fight. And Tando says when she narrates the story that happened after they went home, they forgave each other, and they decided they are going to move forward. Okay, so they make an arrangements to actually go to eThekwini, you know. So it looks like for them, eThekwini is like it's always their getaway, you know. When they want to get away from Olundi, when they want to go and have fun, they always go to eThekwini. Usiyacela actually is actually very obsessed with it. It's eThekwini. When I actually feel like they do better when mabe solungi, and I also feel like Tando has a little bit of support my solundi, and I feel like part of Usiyacela taking Tando away from Olundi is so he can have him all by himself and he can control her, and then he will be busy cheating, because obviously most of his cheating he does it in Durban. Okay, so now when the episode starts, Tando narrates a story of what happened. So they left Ulundi, they went to Durban, they book a place. Tando says it's a hotel, but at some point she also says that it's a B&B. So I suspect it's a B&B, because when they were standing outside later on in the episode, I was like, okay, this looks like it could be a B&B, okay? So then she says that she received a call from a girl who was her friend. I don't know how they met with this friend. And Usiyacela was there. Remember, in the past seasons, one of the things that we complained about when it comes to Isencane Lengane was the fact that Tando never has a phone. We didn't understand it because she gets paid on Isencane Lengane. But there was always an issue with Tando not having a phone, okay? So I guess this season they made sure that they make sure that she has a phone, because on the first episode we saw that she has a phone. Now, she says the girl calls and Usiyacela gets upset because she's being called by somebody that he doesn't know. And when she's trying to explain who the girl is, because basically it was a friend, nothing deep, it was a friend, because she now had a phone, she had found a way of sending the number to a friend or buzzing a friend. It's not clear whether she buzzed a friend or sent Ingane to go give the friend a number. Usiyacela gets upset about it because Usiyacela has a rule that Tando is not supposed to be called by anybody that he doesn't know. He's not supposed to be called by males. So basically, Tando's phone is not supposed to ring or WhatsApp or on social. That's why you can't find Tando. You can't find Tando on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram. You can't find her anyway. And if there's an account there, it's a fake account or it's an old account, maybe they haven't posted in 6 years. So she's not allowed to have social media. We found out yesterday that's the reason that we can't find her on social media. It's because she is not on social media. Usiyacela doesn't want her on social media. In fact, not just social media. He does not want her to be called by anybody on her phone, does not want her to be contacted, does not want her to contact anybody except for the one friend that he talked about, that she's okay to spend time with that friend, okay? Very controlling, okay? I already could see an issue with that. But then when she narrates a story, it gets to a point where the Usiyacela emshaya khona, very clear ukuthi Usiyacela umshayile, not just ukuthi he slept her once, umushayile, and at some point she even had a child with her and even hit her with the phone emthungweni. Remember Tando usanda kubeletha ebeletha ngomthungo. So it's a lot. The narration of that story, if it was my child that came to me and told me that story, by the time she finishes a sentence, I will be at the front door of the police station, because that's how clear the story was, that it was a very abusive situation. But of course the crew doesn't do anything. They continue to shoot the story. So between Usiyacela, they're having a back and forth in terms of it's not even the argument is I did not hit you, you hit me. No, because Usiyacela says vele ngimshayile and ngiyamshaya, meaning he does hit her and he did hit her. So the argument between the two of them is not on ungshayile or angishayanga. The argument is on bungshayelane, because Tando is like, no, but it's just my friend. That one is like, but you lied about how you got the number. You said you buzzed the friend and then later on said that you sent a child. I know it doesn't make sense, but yeah, that's what they're fighting about, okay? And yeah, so he states a rule, Usiyacela, he doesn't want her to speak to abantu besilisa, and then ufuna ukumkhethela ama friends akhe. So Usiyacela needs to approve her friends, and yes, so ifoni kaTando should not have anything in it, okay? And uthi akafuni ukuthi abe nabangani, and does admit ukuthi umshayile, okay? Tando says ukuthi she gives Usiyacela a lot of respect, which she feels he doesn't even deserve, but then he does, and he feels like even older people that are married don't do what she does. Yes, nobody does, nobody does. We don't do what you do, we don't get hit and stay in relationships. And even people that have been married for a very, very long time don't do that. So I don't want any kids watching this video to think that that is normal. And I'm hoping none of the kids that watched last night's episode think that that is not normal. We don't do such, okay? We don't get beaten in relationships. No. If it ever happens to you, you walk out the first lap, even before it gets to your face, you are out the door, okay? So now, because they were having that argument now about the phone, at some point Ulokhuzana Tando was saying ukuthi she feels like it's about time that they break up. Okay, ufuna sihlukane. And because she feels like the abuse is getting too much. She even said because she felt like Usacela was going to stop with the baby coming, but the baby has come and he's still hitting her. In fact, he's hitting her in front of the baby. So if you are in a similar situation and you think that the guy is going to stop when the baby comes, no, they don't. You know, if you think they're going to stop when you get married, no, they don't. It gets worse actually, because the more they get away with it, they realize, oh, so she doesn't do anything about it, so I can actually do it, you know. So if you want to get out now. So she says she wants to break up with Usacela. Listen, I think Tando has moments where she knows and realizes that this is not normal, this is not acceptable, but for some reason she just cannot get herself to walk out of that relationship. And sometimes I feel like there is part of me that feels like maybe the show even is contributing to that, because of course, you guys, if they are no longer together, the show might not even be able to continue, and maybe the show is contributing in her staying, because she has moments where she feels like, you know what, this is it, let's break up, let's go our separate ways, but then she doesn't walk out. It's like you say it's about time for me to go, but your feet won't take you out the door. It's that kind of a situation. So I feel like she has those moments, but she doesn't do it. So I feel like maybe even them doing the show together does have a negative impact on their lives, because it makes her not walk away, because of course if she's not there or they're no longer together, they're not going to be able to do the show. So yeah, you guys, so at times, you guys, with reality TV shows, of course we get entertained by people's real life, but it's like, in a way, you're watching a disaster taking place in somebody's life. You know, we're getting entertained, but at the same time, it's like, is it worth it for them? Is it worth her life to stay there? So at some point, Usacela grabs a phone, ashaya on the floor, he breaks it like a brand new phone, which Tando was really heartbroken about it. Really heartbroken. To hear Tando's cry in that moment was really heartbreaking, you guys. It's really heartbreaking. I get irritated with her still staying in that relationship, but at the same time, I have to understand that she is young, and maybe she's got that thing that when you're in a marriage, you are in a marriage. But when she was crying like that, it really did break my heart. You know, she says her phone had nothing in it. She bought the phone because she wanted to take photos of her baby, pictures of her baby, because her baby is growing. So the only thing that was actually on her phone is her child's pictures. And she said the phone was like 2 days old. And Usacela broke it, and he didn't look like he regretted anything. He didn't look like he cared about anything and anybody after breaking the phone. Like, guys, I feel like somebody needs to go and help Tando to get out of that relationship and understand that it's okay to get out of the relationship. But anyway, you guys, so in the next scene, we get Ubaba Tando. I was so bored because they brought this guy back. I was so bored. I was so bored that they brought this guy back. I don't see the need Kababa Tando on Isencane Lengane, honestly. Because when the show started, of course, he wasn't there. We didn't know anything about him because he wasn't even in contact with his own child. We didn't even know that they know who he is. The child got married without the father being there. And then later, when he saw Tando on TV, that's when he tried to contact Tando. And he's been talking about paying amahlawulo for Tando since season 2, if it was in season 3, we are in season 5 now. Every season he says go to Zohlawula. 3,000 rand that we've been waiting for. I'm not from the Msomi family, but I feel like I am from Msomi family. We've been waiting for that 3,000 rand for years now. It's what for 4 years now. We're waiting for 3,000 rand that he was supposed to pay as Zohlawula, and he hasn't paid it. So they make an appearance in this scene with the sister, you know, the sister from Chesterville, the one, you know, the aunt, the rich aunt of the family. She's the rich aunt of the family. She's the one that was making big promises when she first came in season 3, and she was saying she's going to take Tando to universities. She's already applied for Tando, but she was meeting Tando for the first time. She didn't have Tando's ID number. She didn't have Tando's report from school, but she said she had applied for Tando to get to university in that season when she came. That's when I knew this one was not okay. Because I was like, how did you apply for this child to go to university and you don't, it's the first time you meet him? Anyway, so she had made big promises that she was going to take Tando to Ilona, and we were all so hopeful. Like stupid Nati, we were like, yeah. Anyway, but Tando didn't pass her matric anyway. So now, it turns out to go to Jevelum, they're not Tando. You know, those people, they will show up to shoot this show and say nothing and do nothing, or they will show up and just cause drama just for the sake of it. So in this time, Tando is going to Laklala Konomaga Tando. Sometimes Isencane Lengane, they are not so good at actually saying, because in reality shows, sometimes when they go to a place, they will write, you know, now so we are clear where they are. So sometimes they're not clear, but we do know good and bala kuhlala khona uMaga Tando. I guess bazokhuluma indaba yamahlawulo uMaga Tando, because she was under the impression that the bazo coca what was left of inhlawulo. She had called her older brother. It might be a cousin, it might not be the actual brother, but Makaya and as families, black families, your cousin is your brother, you know. And I think it's something like that. So she has called her big brother to come. One thing I didn't understand about Umaga Tando, why would, if she thought they were coming to pay inhlawulo, why would she think bazokhokha inhlawulo eThekwini? Because they were supposed to go to Nkandla, because that's where her home is, okay? But anyway, she thought that they were coming to pay inhlawulo. So they come with Umaga Tando, and they're saying they want to talk about inhlawulo because they feel like abanawo amalungelo kuThando. I don't understand that. Tando is over 18 right now. She's a married woman with her own family. What rights do you want to have on her? Even if you were her, even if you had raised her after 18, that's it. You know, they are adults then. But she says that because they don't have rights on her because of the indaba yamahlawulo. So so Umaga Tando starts the conversation by saying ukuthi uzoxolisa ngendaba yenhlawulo, because this is not the day actually that he is bringing. How are you going to set a date to apologize about inhlawulo instead of bring, guys, it's 3,000 rand. It's been 4 years. Even if he was saving 100 rand a month for inhlawulo, he would have had the 3,000 by now, because it's been 4 years that he's been talking about inhlawulo. So he's coming to say we are xolisa about pay to 3,000 rand. Even the rich aunt, you know, just borrow him the 3,000 rand ahamba yohlawulo. Why umphelezela ukuthi ayoxolisa ukuthi akanawo 3,000 rand when he's supposed to have paid the 3,000 rand long time ago, okay? Umaga Tando was crazy to say, how can you come all the way and make me call my brother to come here for you to just say now 3,000 rand? Why? Why the hell did you come here? Nama was like, why did you come here? Ngabe uyekmashonisa wayeboleka 3,000 rand okungcono and go and pay inhlawulo. Like, that would have been fairer, you know? And it's like, yabona ke manje ngikhathele amaxoliso akho uhleze uzoxolisa lana for things mina ngiexpect ukuthi uzoqedela what you started, because remember phela Umaga Tando no Baba Tando, they're no longer together. It's not like she's hoping after he pays inhlawulo uzokhokhile. That's just the only thing that's outstanding, is that inhlawulo, and then that's it. Then he works on his relationship with Tando. That is if Tando wants a relationship, which he doesn't, by the way, okay? Uyacela ukubekezelelwa. Ngiya-understand noma ubekezela waiting for umuntu ukuthi akulobola, ubekezelela ukuthi umuntu akafuni ukuyohlawula. Who voluntarily said he was going to hlawula? Because Umaga Tando had forgotten about Umaga Tando, had moved on with her life. Tando had gotten married, so him showing up was like, oh, okay, so, and then he promised ukuthi uzohlawula. Uyena usifake in that commitment. Nobody was saying ukuthi he must, okay? Umaga Tando is like, ayikho lento yenu ukuthi ningeza la still nisazowenza ama excuse ngalo ngalo 3000 rand. Ayike he starts ukuthi axolise athi Mathondo mina ngiyakwazi ukuthi vele wena unamanga mhlambe ungaqamba amanga la kubhuti wami but mina ngiyakwazi ukuthi amanga. So lento ishoyo I know it's not gonna happen. Okay, so I guess ukuthi kodwa ke ubhuti wakhe uMathando wanted things to be done peacefully, even though he knew ukuthi ihumusha leli amanga lawa, you know. He was like, you know what, okay, for now I'm going to give you one last chance, even though I can hear and ukuthi amanga from my sister, because obviously she knows you, but I will ignore that and give you one more chance to actually ukuthi ke niyobuya ngalelo langa. So what I will do is that ngizolinda nina nisho ukuthi seni ready. When you're ready, then I'll speak to abantu ekhaya, we'll set up a date and then we can go home, which is right vele ngoba they're supposed to go to Nkandla to pay amahlawulo. Okay, so now they get to a point of why they came. Because honestly, they didn't come for Indaba Nhlawulo. They wanted to be on TV, number one. Number two, they wanted to talk about Tando, because of course they want to be part of Tando's life. Because if they are part of Tando's life, they are likely to be on the show, you know. Because Tando appears here and there. So if you are part of Tando's life, you're not going to be on the show as much. But if you are part of Tando's life, that's when you're going to be on the show really like a lot. So they start talking about the fact that they want to talk about Tando. Which is, I guess, umalume kaThando says, listen, wait, we're not gonna have those conversations because awuqedile ukuhlawula. So those right now, the only thing I came here for uzokhuluma ngehlawulo. Since it didn't happen, sengozwa ngani siyobonana ekhaya senzokhokha 3000 rand. I guess ubaba Thando must start saving 100 rands a month, and then 3 years. After 3 years, maybe we'll see him come into town. So when it comes to Tando, there's no conversations I'm going to have with you with regards to her. Let's see if you can paint out, which I thought was such a perfect answer, honestly, because how are you going to talk about a child that you can't even hlawula, and at that just 3000 rand, okay? So I guess they were disappointed. They felt like they wanted to have this conversation about Tando, because they always take the opportunity to talk about Tando and her being in that situation with Usiyacela, that abusive situation with Usiyacela, and they will start batching Usiyacela. But I always feel like they are not the ones to talk, honestly, because they also haven't been in Tando's life when Tando really needed them. So it's like, even you have been abusive, for you to be so absent in a child's life until they get to adulthood, when you were very much alive, because that family Agatabete looks like they're doing very well, you know. There was no reason for them to not be in that child's life, no reason at all. So yeah, so for me, I don't take them seriously, you know. So now it gets back to Tando noSiyacela. It looks like they are still in Durban, and it looks like they are still in that BNB that they were talking about at the beginning. Okay. Now, guys, typical of somebody in an abusive relationship, she comes now to beg uSiyacela for them to talk. After he broke the phone, after he broke their phone, her phone, and after he hit her, because now when she narrates a story, remember the first scene, she's narrating a story of how uSiyacela had abused her. So now, that day of breaking the phone, after he had broken the phone, he beat her again. But she is back now. I don't know where uSiyacela is now. They're in different BNBs now. Maybe the producers felt like it was a volatile situation now. Let's put them into different BNBs because they are meeting somewhere on the streets to talk. So Tando is the one begging for them to communicate because, of course, she wants to get back with him. So he beat her, but when they are separated, he hasn't called her or anything, or begged her or apologized for anything. It was a weird scene to shoot this one because, of course, I felt like the cameras were on the street, so obviously the scene is set on the street to be shot on the street, and they have to come out to shoot the scene. If you, as the producer, you hear Ugutu Tando after you left that day, she got beaten, why would you insist on shooting a scene? Because if you say you're going to shoot a scene on the streets, Tando shooting a scene with you, you are basically saying that child must come out of a BNB and shoot a scene with the person that just beat her again after they told you that she was beaten again. She was beaten that day. You are saying now come out and shoot the scene together. The kids that you very much know that they abuse each other, you are saying they must come and shoot the scene so that they can forgive each other, so that when you can get a show for Moja Love, because that's the most important part to Moja Love. At the end of the day, we have to get. You might die while shooting the scene, but we don't care. You might have a heart attack. We don't care. You might faint, but we don't care as long as we get the show. That's the thing here, Moja Love. That's how we work on Moja Love. I didn't understand it. That scene shouldn't have been shot at all. When they got there and they found out to beat Tando again, they should have called the police. Double now for the second time, but they didn't. Okay. So, because on Moja Love, what is more important than anything? What is more important than breathing than life? It's shooting the show. Okay, so we are going to shoot the show even if people are dying. Okay, so fine, they shoot the show. Of course, like the producer, because if the producer say, listen, we're going to shoot the scene here, you are going to have to apologize to Tando. Sakela is going to be like, apologize for us because So they obviously go to Tando to say, listen, see if you can fix things. And Tando was like, yeah, So she's begging Sakela to come back to her. And then at the same time, while she's begging him to talk to her, she's also narrating the story of how he beat her even through the phone. Guys, it's something that you don't want to hear. Even Sakela is like, no, I didn't do that. As if, it makes a difference. He says, I didn't do that. I didn't beat you in front of I took the child. I kuyahlekwa noma kufiwe guys, kuyahlekwa noma kufiwe, like emngcwabeni kuyahleka, emngcwabeni uhleka, emngcwabeni kuncwatshwa uyahleka if there is a joke. This is what I'm doing because I'm like, What's no, I took the child, I put the child on the bed and then I beat you. I didn't beat you with you do carrying the child. As if it makes anything better. Anyway, you guys, so yeah, that's why she gives details of how actually she doesn't do much on the phone, so she doesn't even understand why the phone was broken, and Uti, if you thought that this review was crazy, guys, I'm like, Haibo. So now Tando says Velu Sakela is always beating her, and at some point she says, why am shy and get banned at do no shy. Guys, you will have to forgive me for laughing because the ridiculousness, I'm like, sometimes you would hit her with the belt at I'm shying a band. Guys, the things we see on Moja Love, I'm shying a band and all that. I then get usacela angazi ukuthi wenzekeni noma uthintwe umoya oyingcwele, touched by the spirits, and then he starts apologizing. He's like, I'm sorry, ngiyaxolisa phela, ngiyaxolisa. And then Tando decides ukuthi in order for her to forgive him, ngcono amshaye ngempama, nakhona impama yakhona nje ethambile, like ubesa, she acts like somebody vele who gets beaten in a relationship where even eshaya usacela ngempama, she was shaking. It's almost like she expected that if she hits him, is going to hit him harder and hit her back. And it was just clear on that, you guys. I'm not even saying that it's right for her to because GBV is wrong both ways, Even that scene for Moja Love to shoot it, and even I think it's okay for it to put it for them to put it on TV. I don't understand that. Okay, and then they I guess, like I say, guys, those kids came out of the BNB to shoot the scene Moja Love because they shot that scene the way that Moja Love wanted it, because of course they say you have to talk about your relationship and see if you forgive each other. They shot the scene. After they're done, Sakela even said to the cameras, which they don't even edit out, because of course it's Moja Love. Sakela says, guys, we are done here. We've done the scene that you wanted. We are done here. So they walk away. But I think now, because Sakela vele unobuslo doesn't realize, even if they walk away, because the cameras do take a step back a little bit while they walk away holding hands, lovers. and then but they don't realize that they are still mic'd, you know, so they didn't take the mics off, so we could still hear their conversation. They're still talking about it. That relationship is toxic, and it's toxic both ways. Remember I said that in the video I did about Omakati and Master KT, and I said if you stay too long in a toxic relationship, you become toxic too. There's never a time where a relationship is really toxic one way. If you are in a toxic relationship, you must be toxic too, because you are staying in that relationship. This is exactly what it is with Ntando, because then when you hear them talk through the mic, because now they were far from the cameras, they had forgiven each other, so they walk away. The conversation starts again about him beating her. How can you beat me like that? She's crying and whatever, and then she says, because she had said after she slept, Usaxela was like, now I forgive you. They walk away. I guess that's how the scene was supposed to go. She was supposed to slap Usaxela and say, now I forgive you, and they walk away in love. But they get there, they continue a conversation. It starts again. She's talking about breaking up with him. You know, guys, the best way to break up with somebody is to pack your things and go live the place where you live, and be like, I'm done. You know, you don't say it so much, because even if you say ahlukane whatever, and then you go back and you live with the person, what is that? You know, so that conversation still is still continuing. There is a time, you guys, just to show how bad things got, where Tando says the owner of the BNB even came out at some point, because she was screaming and stuff when he was beating her, and says, do you need help? Can I help you with anything? And Usaxela said to the BNB owner, I know my wife is cheating me. Hey, asingahleki, because ukufike, but yeah, that's what he said. Yeah, my wife is cheating me. So the BNB owner thought that was the end of the story. Now a BNB owner, you should have called the police, Bela. I guess the owner of the BNB, maybe people come there and fight all the time. So sometimes, as long as you are not dying or something, it's like, okay, you know, leaves it alone. But that's what happened. You know, he said, my wife is cheating. The biggest cheater in the land of KZN is not happy with his wife cheating on him. Yeah, that is the story. Okay. So at the end, in the dowry session, the way it ended, it ends with Usaxela on one hand saying that this was the first time he ever beat Tando, and Tando on the other saying, listen, I gishawa breakfast, lunch and supper. Well, not in those exact words, but that was my interpretation. Gishawa breakfast, lunch and supper, and it's not the first time. It has always been like that in our relationship. So there was the episode for today. Honestly, you guys, Moja Love just does the most inappropriate things and put them on TV. That's just their thing. But the one thing that is really upsetting is when they do these shows, and you know that there's GBV in the show, but you also know that they don't do anything about it. It's a sad thing, honestly. Honestly, it is, you know. But yeah, that is Isencane Lengane for last night, from last night's episode. I really didn't like seeing that. Also, just because we've watched Tando for so many years on this show, we love her so much. We would have loved for her to do so well, just in life in general. To see her in that situation is not nice at all. But that is it, you guys. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Please make sure that you like it before Pumegiona. Share it with your friends, with your family, and even with strangers. Ntando kakhulu.